screen. So the screen is visible to everyone. So can anyone confirm? Is my screen is visible to all?
Yes, this is.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks for the confirmation. So hi everyone, my name is Prashant Sharma, and today I'll take the session on phases of hacking. Okay, so this will be the CH masterclass, and in this mainly we are going to focus on the phases of hacking and everything you should know about the CH latest exam. Okay, so before the session, let's take a few things. First, if you have any doubts, please raise your hand instead of unmute and speak. Okay, this will be the first thing because this is going to interrupt the flow of the session. Okay, and second, take a notepad or a pen to note down the important points from the session, or else you can use any kind of note address as well. Okay, also please be on mute. If you have any doubts, please raise your hands. Okay, I'm also looking the hands, or I'm constantly looking to the chats as well. Okay, so if you have anything, please let me know instead of directly unmuting. Okay, so yeah, we can start. So this topic is quite very important in cybersecurity. Doesn't matter if you are working in defensive side of cybersecurity or offensive side of cybersecurity. Okay, phases of hacking are steps which a hacker takes to infiltrate into any system, and that is why it is very important. Okay, so let's start with today's agenda first. Okay, just a minute. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's our today's agenda. Firstly, I'll give a short introduction to me. I think I'm getting some background noise. Just a minute. I think, yeah. Guys, please unmute yourself if you are speaking, or if you're not aware, please unmute. If you have any concern, please raise your hand. Okay. Yeah, so firstly, I'll start with the introduction about me. Then we will move forward to the CEH exam overview. Okay. Later on, we will look in depth of 5 phases of hacking with live practical as well. Okay. So stay in the session till last. Okay. So you will get to know about all of these things. Okay. I'll do a quick demo as well. Okay. Usually the way I teach is firstly, I'll explain you the background concept about the topic. Okay. Then I'll give you the practical demonstration. After that, I'll help you to create your notes as well. Like if you have taken down some notes, then you can share it with me. I'll quickly review it, like if you have missed it something or not. Okay, then that's how you basically proceed. Okay, so you won't be missing anything. Okay, that's the way that I usually follow. Let's start with the introduction. So who am I? So again, my name is Prashant Sharma, and I began the career in cybersecurity since May 2018. Like if we talk about the overall experience, then I have 6 years of experience in cybersecurity, more majorly in offensive side of cybersecurity. Okay, and if we talk about my daily routine, then I'm mostly engaged in VAPT, that's a vulnerability assessment and penetration testing of applications like we have web, mobile API network, and thick clients. Okay. Apart from this, I have also acquired few of the globally recognized certifications like we have CEH, OSCP, CRTP, CREST, CPSA, and CRT. And if we talk about the achievements, then currently I'm in under top 800 in Buckrot platform. Okay, that's a bug hunting platform where we used to report vulnerabilities, and the platform owners basically gives us the reward on per vulnerability basis. Okay, and I've also found out many vulnerabilities on most of the well-reputed websites like Google, Mastercard, Pinterest, Western Union, and many more. Okay, so these websites have given me Hall of Fame as well. Okay, and I've also published few of my Google Docs on Google Hacking Database. Okay, and mostly I'm contributing to the community actively, and I've written multiple InfoSec docs on Cybrary and Medium platform. Okay, and recently I've delivered a virtual session on Android pen testing that is organized by OWASP Bhubaneswar, and I've been also part of the recent conference that is held in Bangalore. That's a WorldCon 2024. So I've been part of that team as well. Okay, that's just a quick intro about me. Okay, so let's get started with the main topic. That is a Certified Ethical Hacker Exam. It's a CEH. Okay, so CEH. So this certification is basically kind of a represent that you have the knowledge of a ethical hacking. Okay, and it is important for both the person, either you are working in SOC or you are working as a pen tester. Okay, that's why it is sometimes it is a beginner friendly certification as well, because it is quite easy. In CEH, we have some variety as well. Okay, firstly, there is a knowledge based exam, okay, that contains around 125 multiple choice questions. Okay, that's a knowledge based, you can say it's kind of a theory based exam. Okay, then there is one more optional exam that is a CEH practical exam. Again, I'm getting some messages. Okay, I'm muting. Yeah. So I'm talking about the CEH practical exam. Okay, that's completely optional exam, but there is a catch here. If you have the CEH theory exam as well as the practical exam, then you will entitled with the CEH master certification. Okay. Otherwise, if you are only going with the CEH knowledge based exam, then still you will get the title of certified ethical hacker. Okay, usually like if you're working in defensive side of cybersecurity, then maybe your organization can ask you to do the certification. Okay, if you have to level up your skill, then in that case you have to do the certification anyhow. Okay, so there are around 20 modules that you have to complete in CEH exam. Okay, so basically it's completely theory based. The knowledge with that examination that we are talking about, that's completely a theoretical based examination. Okay, that contains 125 question and it's all about 4 hours of exam. If we talk about the passing score, then it is varies to 60% to 85%. Okay, and just keep a note here that CH practical is completely an optional examination that contains some 20 practical challenges. And the duration is completely different from the knowledge base, because in this you will get 6 hours and in theory based examination you will get 4 hours. Okay. So this few things about the CEH. And if you have any doubts, please let me know. Okay. If you anyone have any questions as of now regarding this CEH examination, how this works, anything related to that, any content, anything. Anyone have any doubt as of now about this certification? Any related to any content, syllabus, anything? Or are we good to go?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible. Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. Sir, the theory examination is separate and practical is separate.
Yeah, knowledge-based theoretical exam is completely separate and practical is separate exam.
Okay. For how many hours? And
Theoretical exam is of 4 hours and practical exam is of 6 hours.
Okay.
The syllabus would be same for both, okay, but the exam type would be different. In CH practical, you will get 20 practical challenges, but in CH knowledge-based exam, you will get 125 MCQ-based question to pass that. Okay.
What is
And
the passing marks? 75% or 80%?
Yeah, the passing score is same, like 60% to 85%.
Okay.
Okay. And just one thing is that, like if you have both the certification like CH theory as well as practical, then you will get a CH master as a title. Okay. Okay. So if anyone other have any other doubt, okay, or else we can move forward. Okay. I'll move to the next slide. Phases of hacking. Okay. So if we talk about Avinash, do you have any doubts?
పర్సనల్ విషయం ఇంత చేసుకుంటాడు అమ్మా
Avinash, please mute yourself. I'll mute you. Okay. If anyone have any doubt, please raise your hands. I'll keep an eye on that. So the next thing that we are going to focus on, that's the phases of hacking. Okay. Here we are talking about the hacking. What does it mean? We are discussing about the how we are going to identify the vulnerability, or you can say kind of a weakness into a target, then how we are exploiting them. Okay, so that kind of things we are going to do. Now, I'm getting some just in phases of hacking, if we mainly focus on the hacking term, then it is all about finding the vulnerabilities in an organization or any kind of asset of the organization. Okay, so for organization, let me give you an example of google.com. Suppose your target is google.com or any other target like yahoo.com you have. Okay, then to hack that particular target, hack means like we are finding the vulnerabilities and taking advantage of that particular vulnerability to achieve our main objective. Objective can be anything, it can be ethical, it can be not. If you are working as an ethical hacker, then yes, your objective would be ethical, like you have to find the issues and after that you have to report it to the organization. Okay, that will be the ethical manner to report the vulnerabilities. Okay, as a ethical, or you can say a white hat hacker. Okay, usually any hacker, like it will include the ethical hacker as well as the black hat hackers as well. Any hackers have to go through these 5 steps. Firstly, I'll just give you a complete brief about that. Then we will deep dive into the each category one by one. Okay. The firstly stage is reconnaissance. Reconnaissance is all about how much information we can collect about the target. Okay. Usually this information can be anything about the target, like how many employees are working in the particular organization. Okay. How many domains or particular website do we have? What is the target network do we have? Or target have acquired some recent companies or not? Okay. Do we have some sort of email leaks available of the target? Or do we have any data leaks available over dark web? Okay, or any kind of open source intelligence kind of stuff. Okay, so that kind of things exist in the reconnaissance. So usually we collect information about the target. This first phase is also known as footprinting as well as information gathering phase. Okay, where we collect the data about the target. Okay, the information. Okay, there are types as well that we will discuss in next slide. Okay, because we are going to deep dive into each of the category. Okay, in just few minutes. Okay, so keep some patience. Okay, the next phase is a scanning. Scanning is all about the scanning the target. Like we have to check for the open ports. Okay, we have to check for the network scan, we have to check for the vulnerability scan. Okay, so Google can have a big network, they have a some sort of subnet as well, so we have to scan their subnet, and after that we have to do the port scan of the given IPs, and after that we have to perform the vulnerability scan as well on the given IPs as well. Okay, so scanning is also the crucial part of the these phases of ethical hacking. Okay, and after completing the scanning phase, we move to the gaining access. Gaining access is the phase where the real hacking begins, because in this phase you are going to exploit the target by utilizing the information that you have gathered in the first 2 phases. Okay, here you are going to actually hack the target and gain the initial access, or you can say initial foothold on the target. Okay, there's the third step. And after getting the initial access, what you have to do? You have to maintain the access on the target. This thing can include a lot of things, like including your backdoors, performing the post exploitation part, performing the privilege escalation. So everything will be in the fourth phase, because here the main thing comes up as a hacker. Like you have to maintain the access that you have got in the fourth. So you don't have to perform the repeated steps. Okay, and the last step would be covering the tracks, where you have to clear all of your logs or whatever the activities that you have performed as of now. Okay, so these are just a quick intro about the phases of hacking, like how these things works. I'll give you one example as well. Okay, so example would be, suppose there is a target, or you can say suppose there is a family. Okay, I'll give you a very simple example. Suppose there is a family, and I'm a thief. Okay, I'll just draw it somewhere. Just a minute. Yeah, what I'll do, I'll just simply. Okay, so here, suppose this is a family, or you can say it is our target. This is our target. Okay. And think this is the attacker. Okay. This is the attacker that we have. Okay. So as an attacker, we are going to follow all the 5 phases to achieve our objective. Or you can say attacker is kind of a thief that is going to rob the house of this particular target. Okay. So firstly, as an attacker, what is the main task that the thief is going to perform? It will start with the information gathering part. Okay. It will analyze like when, what is the daily schedule of the target, when it is going to be in the home, when it is going to be out of the home, and how many members are there in the particular family member, or what is the daily schedule of that particular target. Okay, and where is the main things. Okay, so the treasure mainly, so that kind of information gathering will be there. Okay, after that, attacker, or you can say thief, is going to analyze the ports. Ports means why? Because here in the second step, he will analyze what is the entry point. Okay, entry point means like from where, or from which door, or from which, you can say, window, how the thief is going to enter into the target. Okay, so the entry points analysis will be in the second part. After that, what he's going to do, he will use that particular information, the whatever the information is gathered in first 2 steps, that he's going to use in the third phase to gain the access, or you can say to broke the door, or to uh, taking advantage of the open windows, then entering into the target house. Because this will be the third step, would be initial access. After that, again, 4th step, what he will do, he will maintain the access for his friends, so their friends can also access the target treasure basically. And after that, it will clear all the footstep, like whatever the activity they have done, so he won't be caught in last. Okay, so that's just a very simple example that I've given. So attacker can also follow the same. Okay, anyone have any doubts as of now? Okay, I've got something in chat. Okay, I'll start answering for the chat questions as well first. So I've got a question from Manish, like, are there books to help pass this exam and price of the exam form? Yes, there are multiple books are available. I'll share you the blog link. Just a minute, I think. Yeah, I'll share you the blog link. So that basically contains all the exam details, including the prices and what are the books that you can refer. Okay, so that things you can refer. Okay, and especially for the pricing part, I suggest you to go with the authorized center of CEH, where you will get some discounts as well. Okay, that you will get it on the Google definitely, or CM Expert is also the authorized one. From that you can grab the CEH voucher and you will get in a discounted price. Okay, so that's the answer for Manish question. Now, yeah, that's the only question that we have got. Anyone have any other doubts as of now? Anyone in this example, or the that we had done the scenario, or do you need any other example? Please let me know. Is it clear? Can anyone confirm?
Hi, just one question.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the theoretical exam,
Mhm.
for scanning parts in the tools, do we need to know all the commands in the Nmap? For example, in Nmap tool, is it required to know all the commands?
Not all the commands, but there are few commands that you should know. And one more thing is that when you open the help menu of that particular tool, you will get all the commands. So there's no need to remember the commands. Just open the description, or you can say help menu of any tool. You will get the arguments description so that you can utilize. Okay, but there are some very common commands that you can use for passing the exam. Okay, that I'll help in the main classes, like what is the exact command that you will fire to grab the main data from the target, like the open ports, normal script scan, and a lot of other scripts. Okay, so there's a one common command that you can use to grab all the data in a single shot. Okay, instead of going one by one for each command.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, there are many automation frameworks are also available to do all these steps very quickly. Okay, so I'll help you in that part as well. Okay, so if you are struggling with tools, commands, anything, don't worry. I have a very automated framework available that you can learn it very easily. Because it's a very easy thing. Okay, you don't have to put that much effort. Okay. So this is about the any other notes, anyone?
No.
Okay, that's good. So yeah, we'll deep dive into the concept one by one. Just a minute. Yeah. Yeah. So the first phase that we are going to start is a reconnaissance part. So this phase is kind of a planning phase. Okay. So where attacker gathers as much information as possible about the target before launching the main attack. Okay. And this phase can include the social engineering part as well. Okay, social engineering is again a very big module available in the CH syllabus, where is basically is all about convincing the people to reveal some information or basically to grab some information from them. Okay, so usually social engineering is about convincing the people to get some relevant data or to get very important data from the target. Okay, so that thing includes that social engineering as well. Okay. So there is one attack scenario that I've also given. So like by using the social engineering technique, we have grabbed some information from the target and we have impersonated the target as well. Okay, so we have pretended as a ISP and we have grabbed some, we have basically tricked the customer service representative, okay, as a hacker to obtain the some information about the target. Okay. Usually this reconnaissance part have two main techniques, active and passive. Active technique basically involves the direct interaction with the target, and passive is about involving indirect interaction. So what does it mean by indirect or direct interaction? So for that, I'll give you one more example here. Just a minute. Where is the yeah. So just quickly, I'll draw one more diagram here. Yeah. So suppose there's an attacker and there's a victim. Okay. There are two ways to collect some information about the target. Firstly, suppose if I have to grab the information from passive mode, then what I'll do, instead of interacting directly with the target, what I'll do, I'll collect the information from the relatives of that particular target, or I'll ask some other persons that knows about my target. Okay, or I'll use some platform that can basically give me the information about my target. So target is not aware like someone is grabbing some information or collecting some information about them. Okay, so in this, the passive mode. So here we are talking about the firstly is the passive mode. The first technique is passive. Passive means indirect. Like we are trying to collect the information about the target in a indirect interaction. That means we are using some other platforms or some other techniques to grab some information about the target. So target don't have any idea like someone is collecting some information about them. Okay, but when we talk about the active basically means the direct interaction. Like what I'm going to do in the active footprinting or active reconnaissance is I directly engage with the target and will ask the details. Like suppose I can ask you like what is your date of birth? I can ask you let's just please give me your mail address. Okay, in the form of some very formal conversation. I simply ask these details, like give me the date of birth, your email address, like where do you live, what's your full name. So these kind of information I can easily grab from the target. But in this scenario, target is aware like someone is collecting the information, or target is basically engaging with a attacker. Okay. So at the time of investigation, like we get to know that, like, yeah, is it a active information gathering or a passive one? Okay. So these are the two main techniques, where active basically means direct interaction with the target, passive means indirect interaction with the target. Okay, so this is about these two techniques. Now, yeah, this is the reconnaissance part. Scanning. So scanning basically refers to the pre-attack phase, where again we are utilizing the information that we collected in the first phase into this to check what are the entry points that we have. Okay, and usually this thing contains three main things. Firstly would be the port scan to check what are the entry points available, okay, and what are the different services are running over there. After that, we have the vulnerability scan, where we check what are the weaknesses available in the target, or what are the loopholes available in the target as of now. Okay, so these are the main things about the scanning. Okay, so here we basically grab the information about the live machines that is available in the network, port status, and the operating system details as well. Okay, why we are doing the port scan? To check like what are the services available in the target network. Suppose if there is a FTP services running on, then there is some specific test cases that we can perform. If there is a SMTP services running on, then there is some specific test case that we can perform, or maybe there is some CVE available for that particular specific services as well as on that particular version. Okay, so that's why we do this as well. Okay, so anyone have any doubts as of now in the first two phases, reconnaissance and scanning? Anyone?
Can you
Was
give
it-
the examples of reconnaissance, active and passive, both real world examples, if
Sure.
you can?
Yes. I'll give you a practical example for that. Okay, suppose there is a yahoo.com, okay, as our target. I'll just simply open this. There is one more thing. What I do, I just simply search for Yahoo. Here you can see that there is two tabs. So firstly is the example of active buy, because in this, if I'm collecting the information about the target, like, so here I'm getting the details like what exactly the Yahoo deals with. Okay, the firstly the technology, what are the technology they are using, okay, what is the framework they are using. So that kind of information I'm collecting by opening the yahoo.com, that means I'm directly involving or directly interacting with my target called yahoo.com. Okay, but if you see on the second tab, I haven't opened the yahoo.com. What I've done, I'm basically using some other platforms to grab some information about this. So what I can do, I'll just basically use some Google Docs as well. Google Docs to grab some information about this target, yahoo.com. So here you can see that these are the subdomains available, login.fr.nz. So these are the subdomains. Grabbing these subdomains without interacting, or you can say it's kind of an indirect interaction. Okay, I'll basically collect some more information, but I won't engage with them. So they don't have any idea about when, like, who is collecting information about them. Okay, but if you go with this tab, then you can see that I'm browsing this particular website and checking like what are the technology, what are the stuff they are using, what is that, are they using MySQL database. I use some of the tools to perform that particular thing. Okay, so that's the example of this. So is it clear or still doubts, or should I give
Yes.
you one more example? Clear?
Yes. Thank you.
Anyone have any other doubt as of now? Anyone?
Yes, I do have one question.
Yeah, please.
Like, what is the port scanning and host scanning?
What is the port scanning
Port,
and
host scanning,
host scanning and port scanning?
host and post scanning. Like, what is the major difference between like port and host scanning?
Okay, so port scanning is basically mainly involves the identifying the open ports. Okay, and host scanning is all about identifying the available host in the target. So one more example here is, Suppose this is my network. Okay, this is a very big organization and have a big network. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll basically check how many hosts are available. So you can see that in this, you can see that how many. So you can see that these are the hosts that is available. Okay, but if I have to check what are the open ports or like what are the entry point that is available on these hosts, then it will comes under the port scanning. Okay, identifying the host means host scanning, and identifying the ports means port scanning.
Okay.
Got it? Like host means
Yes.
like identifying the available machines, simple, or identifying the valid IPs, valid domains, valid devices, or valid host. That's it.
Okay, got it. Yes, got it. Yeah.
Port scanning simply means like identifying the entry points or identifying the open ports available on the host machines. Okay.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone have any other doubts as of now? Or shall we move forward?
Can I ask?
Yes, yes, please.
Yes, I just want to know, like, how we will get to know if any attacker is doing a reconnaissance on a website in a server system.
Okay. So if attacker is directly interacting with the target, then on the server side, or you can say in a backend, there will be some logs that is going to be generated on for that particular IP. Like that particular IP is performing some sort of suspicious activity. Okay, maybe because attacker is going to send a lot of requests in a very short time frame. That's not a normal user behavior. Okay, so that's why SOC team is easily able to identify like someone is doing something suspicious or maybe someone is trying to do something. Okay, only if attacker is directly engaging with the target. Okay, but if they are using passive reconnaissance technique, like they are using some other platforms to grab some information about the target, in that case it is quite you can say quite impossible to grab the information about the attacker. Okay, so let me give you one more example here. So there is one website called Crunchbase. Simply open this Crunchbase and I'll search for a target called Google. It's still not loading. Google. Yeah, I'll just simply search for this organization, Google. So here you can see that what kind of information I'm grabbing from this particular application. I can see the about, I can see the employees that is employed, I can see the address, I can see the website they have, I can see the financial information as well from this particular platform. That's a Crunchbase. And Google don't have any idea like I'm grabbing some information about them. Okay, so you can see the how many investments Google have, how many exits, how many funding rounds. So you can say every financial information available on this, the price, stock price, everything listed on this. Okay, so you can see that. So that's the way of collecting information passively. I can also grab the information about the employees as well. So you can see the employee profile. So I can grab the LinkedIn profile as well of Google employees, even the contact details as well, number of board members, advisors. So you can see that CMO, CEO team, everything, medical science, executive management, everything we have. Okay. And that technique comes in the passive because we are utilizing a third party platform to grab the information about the target. Okay, so you can see the details that I have. It's just a very quick example. Okay, so you can see what is the technology they are using. There's a tech stack by G2 Stack. Google uses 220 technology products and services, including HTML, jQuery, Google Analytics, and there are many things. So you can see how many monthly visitors. So these are the information that I'm collecting. Okay, now if we talk about the active, so here you can see that I'm using a plugin called Weblazer. In this, I'm collecting information like what is the JavaScript library that I'm using, what is the reverse proxy they are using. So if I'm collecting this information directly engaging with my target, then target is going to get to know about me. Okay, like someone is collecting something or someone have visited that particular site or that particular have clicked on some particular specific actions. Okay. Is it clear or should I give you more example?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Okay, I've got one question from Ishwar. Is there a way to list of all ping devices to our system using Nmap? pinged devices. Like, Ishwar, are you there in the call? Can you more elaborate about the question, like what exactly you are asking? Yeah, please unmute and yeah, please speak. And yes, there is a way if you are asking for the ping devices, okay? Or like if someone is, yeah, we have a way, okay? But that's completely out of topic, okay? Like just wait for the end, okay? In the end, I'll answer you that question as well, okay? Just wait for it in the end, okay? Because we have to cover that topic as well. Okay? I'll answer all of your questions, just wait for the last, okay? If you are asking some out of the topic questions, yeah, I'll answer in the end. But if there is something related to the topic, yeah, I'll answer quickly on the spot, okay? There's no need to wait. You can raise your hands, you can ask in the chat, no need to wait, okay? Anyone else have any other doubts, or shall we move forward?
It's okay.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, so we are in the scanning part. Yeah, so scanning is all about scanning the entry points, like what are the entry points that we have on the live machines and what are the services that is running on those ports. Okay, sometimes you will get to know that the host machine have filtered all of the IPs. Like if you are using Nmap and in the result you will get all the ports are filtered. That means maybe the device have implemented any kind of security solutions like firewall. Maybe firewall is blocking your request. Then in that case, we have some ways to bypass the firewall check as well. There are some commands that I will introduce to you that you can use or utilize to bypass the firewall check as well. Okay, because firewall have some sort of signature, you can say predefined rules, and basis on that, they will block the unauthorized traffic. Okay, so sometimes these kind of blockers can also happen, but as an attacker mindset, you will be able to bypass those. Okay, because this CEH certification basically teaches the methodology or the approach to think like an attacker. Okay, we are going to work as an attacker only. Okay, so that's why we will be able to understand how the real world attacker thinks actually. Okay, so this certification is all about the CEH, like how the certified or the normal hackers work, or how you can perform the same thing before the actual hacker is going to perform, or how the real hackers are doing the stuff in a real world. Okay, so this is about the scanning and reconnaissance part. Now comes up the gaining access. Okay, in this basically the real hacking begins. Why? Because hacker is going to utilize the information that is gathered in first two phases to achieve the initial access. Initial access means, like you can say, kind of a terminal shell we get on a command prompt. Like we get some access, like we can uh, provide some instruction to the target and target is going to obey them. Okay, so that's kind of a gaining access, kind of a exploitation phase. Okay, so if we have so basically this phase simply means that we have compromised the target initially. That's it. In a very short term, if you wanna just write it down, gaining access simply means that we have compromised the target initially, or we have got the initial access. Okay, now what can be the impact if we have got the initial access of the target? Impact can be anything. Like as an attacker, what you can do? You can shut down the services. You can exhaust the entire resources as well. Okay, you can do anything because you have the access. Okay, so this phase basically includes the exploiting the vulnerabilities that you have identified as an attacker. Okay, so this phase basically is all about exploiting the vulnerabilities that you have identified or the information that you have gathered. So you have mapped everything and breached the particular target. Okay, so this basically includes some examples, like we have password cracking. Like suppose you have used some sort of default credentials, or you have cracked some hashed password to gain the access of the machine. You have performed some vulnerabilities like session hijacking, SQL injection, cross-site scriptings. Okay, there are some vulnerabilities that basically completely impacts the server. Okay, like we have SSRF, we have remote code execution, we have command injection. So these are some terms. Okay, so don't worry for the terms. I'll explain you. Okay, in the main class. About
I wake up early.
So this is about the gaining access. Okay, gaining access simply means gaining the initial access of the target. Okay. Anyone have any doubts as of now?
Would you please give a brief explanation about buffer overflows?
Buffer
Brief.
overflow is kind of a very complex topic, okay, and requires a dedicated class. Okay, so I'll suggest you to, or else just wait for the last. Okay, I'll explain you about the buffer overflow because it will consume a lot of time. Okay, buffer overflow is kind of very complex and a very big vulnerability. Like usually, when I've prepared for the OSCP, I've done a lot of buffer overflow for some machines. Okay, and it requires a very much time. Okay, to understand the main working because this kind of a machine level things. Okay. Like it requires a very patience as well. So kind of a very complex. So I suggest, and it is completely out of the topic as well. So just wait for the last. Just ask me the same question again. I'll definitely answer it. Okay. Just wait for some time. Anyone have any other doubts apart from the technical vulnerabilities? Because these vulnerabilities are is going to take some time. That's why I'm just postponing it to the last in the session.
Yes. Can we say that C2C is also comes under the gaining access?
What is C2?
Command to control.
Command and control is completely different thing. Okay, so it's kind of a framework. Okay, like C2 command and control server if you have. So as an attacker, you are going to create your own framework that have a lot of features. Okay, like you can deliver your payloads to the victim. You can perform phishing attacks. You can maintain the persistent session as well. That's a completely different thing. Like you can gain the access by using your C2 server.
Okay.
Okay, like if you are engaging in any red team engagement, then there are many C2s are available. Like we have Cobalt Strike, we have a Brute Rattle, we have Sliver, we have Havoc. There are many. Okay, so that
So
we
I
can
believe
use to
when
gain
any
access.
attacker is connected with the system, compromised system, so they are doing the same, I believe, the gaining access using the C2 command and control.
By using command and control, we can gain the access, and by using that, we can also maintain the access as well. Because in that C2, there are some features that basically helps you to maintain the session for a longer time. Like you can maintain the session for 6 months or for a year. Okay, that kind of features are available. That's why like features are quite costly. That's why it is in commercial. Like Cobalt Strike is commercial software. Okay. So I've been the part of the red team engagements and I've done a lot of red teams as of now. So yeah, I can help you on that part as well. Like how you can work on that C2s and what are the other features of the C2s, what are the premium, what are the free or open source C2s that you can use. Okay, there are many things. Okay, but C2s mainly used in the as a red team engagement. Like usually as an attacker, you have your own C2, or maybe your company or organization have created your own customized C2 framework. Okay, that you can utilize for completing this entire attack scenario. Because C2 is going to automate the everything. Okay, everything is going to be automated if you have the C2. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else? Anyone? Okay. If not, then we will move to the next slide. Yeah. So the next is the maintaining access. Maintaining access is basically the phase where attacker basically tries to implement some sort of backdoors, okay, into the system, so they don't have to perform the same steps again and again. Okay, they will basically simply log in and log out, or kind of just simply do a SSH on the particular target and simply just logging out. That's it. They don't have to perform the entire first 4 step or first 3 step basically. Okay, so to prevent that, they basically do the think kind maintaining access. Okay, and in this session only, or in this particular phase only, they can upload or download a lot of sensitive things. Okay, like suppose if I have to upload, then what I'll do, I can upload a lot of trojans, I can upload many viruses or spyware, and I can do anything. I can upload keyloggers as well. Okay, and if we talk about the download, then we can extract the sensitive information as well from the target. Okay, We can also extract some of the production data as well. Like if we are targeting any production application, then yes, in that case, we can extract that particular such information as well. Okay. Anyone have any doubt in this? Okay. Just wait for some time. I'll show you some practical as well. Okay. There will be a practical as well. So after just completing this slide, I'll show you the complete practical. What are the things that you can do, okay, to collect the information about the target, how you can scan your target, and how you can do the other step. Okay. So just bear up with me for the practical session, because the theory is also important, because by completing this theory only, you will be able to answer those MCQs questions, because those MCQs are completely scenario based questions. Okay. So those scenarios we are going to cover in the syllabus. Okay. Yeah, so back to the topic, maintaining access. So maintaining access is all about using the compromise system to launch further attacks, as well as we are, as an attacker, we are going to implement some sort of backdoors. Okay, so we will prevent to perform the first three steps again and again. Okay, that's the maintaining access attack. Sorry, maintaining access phase. Usually this phase also involves the post exploitation as well as privilege escalation part as well. Post exploitation is nothing. It is all about the activity that we are doing after gaining the access. Like suppose you are enumerating the target, the internal stuff, like there will be some internal port, there will be some security solution that is implemented. So that kind of enumeration you can do. Okay, if you have if you've got the access of the target. Okay, so that's a post exploitation where you are basically doing the post enumeration and utilizing the same information to again exploiting inside that, or launch some further attacks from that one machine to the other machines. Okay, yeah, so that's about the maintaining access. Now if we talk about the clearing tracks, that's the last phase, and in this we basically talks about, as an attacker we have achieved the objective. Now what we have to do, we have to hide or delete our footprints, basically the whatever the activity that we have performed as of now, that we are going to delete. Why? To remain undetected or unnoticed, because as an attacker we have to be anonymous. Okay, so that's why we are going to remove all of the logs, we are going to replace everything, or we are basically going to remove all of the footprint, that whatever the activity that we have done as of now. Okay, so this is about the clearing tracks phase. Okay, as of now, anyone have any other doubts on these phases, or shall we move to the practical one? Anyone has any doubts as of now? Is it clear for everyone, or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now move to the practical part. Okay, we'll start step by step. Okay, so we'll start with the first phase, reconnaissance. What are the information that we can grab? So let's take a note on this scarlet draw. So we'll start with the reconnaissance part. What are the information that we can grab? Employee information we can grab. We can grab the information about the target as well. Like target means what are the technologies that the target is using? Okay, what are the languages that the target is using? What are the libraries that the target have? Okay, maybe there will be some vulnerability or any loopholes available in that particular technology or any language or any library. There can be some chances. Okay, so that's why we collect that information as well. Okay, if the target have some specific domain names, okay, then we will do the domain recon as well. Domain recon includes the subdomain enumeration. Why? Because maybe yahoo.com have some subdomains. Subdomains means the child domain of a main domain. So here yahoo.com is a main domain and abc.yahoo.com. ABC is a child domain and yahoo.com is a main domain, or you can say parent domain. Okay, so that's why we collect some subdomain as well of the target to increase the attack surface. Okay, if we have the more targets, then we have a very wider attack surface, so we can perform a lot of attacks on the target. Okay, So that information we can also, I'll do one by one. I'm just listing down the things. Then we will move with the practical part. How we can do the things step by step. Okay. After that, we can do the acquisitions. Okay. We can find out what are the acquisition. Acquisition means like suppose I'm a Google. Okay. And Google usually acquire a lot of companies on annual or basically quarterly basis. Okay. So that kind of information I can also grab, because maybe acquisitions can be vulnerable. Maybe gmail.com is not vulnerable, but there can be some chances the acquisition can be vulnerable. Okay, so that kind of information I also have to gather as an attacker, because maybe from that acquisition I can enter into the Google's internal network. Maybe if that is the part of the Google internal network, then only in that case, if I've compromised the acquisition, any of the Google acquisition, then I can be in the internal network of Google. Okay, so that's why grabbing some information or breaching the acquisition is also important. Okay, I can collect the information about the email as well. Okay, that's basically the email harvesting technique, where I will try to find as much as emails. Okay, sometimes while grabbing the email, I can find some credentials as well, like the plain text emails and passwords of employees, or leaked on some public platforms like Pastebin, GitHub, or on dark web. Okay, so these platforms I can utilize to grab some public data, number sensitive data basically. Okay. Now, if we talk about the next step, what else we can grab in the reconnaissance phase? In reconnaissance, if we talk about, then we can go for some archives as well. Archives means visiting.
Can you again explain harvesting?
Yeah. Email harvesting means basically grabbing or collecting the emails of the target. Okay. And here I mentioned a credential. Why? Because sometimes when you are collecting the information about the target or collecting the emails, all of the email list. So here basically we target the list of valid emails about target. Okay.
Okay.
So while enumerating that thing, sometimes you may encounter with the valid credentials that you can utilize for getting the initial access. Sometimes, I'm not saying every time, but sometimes you will get the password as well for that email on some public platforms or public forums. Let me give you one example. Okay, suppose there is a email called shanti@gmail.com. Okay, this email you have grabbed from some any other website, and you get to know that this employee works on google.com. Okay, now you have the email of the target. Now what you've done, you've gone to some platforms. Okay, and on that particular platforms, what you've done, you have put it that particular email address and check, is this email address is leaked in some sort of a leak? Like we have basically a lot of common leaks, like we have Domino's leak, Zomato leaks, or some recent leaks like Uber. There are many leaks are usually happens monthly basis or on weekly basis. So I can search from the TB of leaks. Okay, maybe I'll get some common password, because most of the users uses the same password for every platform. So maybe I can try that password, and sometimes I'll get to know that this password is valid. Or I can do the credential spraying as well, where I can brute force the password of this particular email. So that kind of things I can also do. Okay, but how I can achieve this particular target? By doing the reconnaissance of the valid email list about the target. Okay, objective can be this, but initial how we are starting is with the reconnaissance. Like as an ethical hacker, the mindset should be collecting as much as information about the target. That's it. That's the only mindset we have. Okay, objective can be anything, like by grabbing these email we can do this thing, we can do this thing. There are many things that you can achieve. Objective can be multiple. Okay, but the reconnaissance will be the same. Okay, you have to do this. Okay, it depends on your mindset, like how you are utilizing that information, how you are completing your goals by utilizing that information. It completely depends on your creativity. Okay, so these kind of things.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, then I'm getting some noise from background. Simply mute that. Yeah, so email harvesting is this. Oh, now let's talk about what else. What else we can do? We can go for some archives. Archives means visiting the older versions of websites. Okay, what does that mean? Simply means like Facebook. Okay, I'll just show you directly one example. I'll just go to archive.org. This is a platform. Okay, I'll just enter my target called facebook.com. Facebook.com is my target. Okay. So here you can see that this website basically shows me the changes that has happened for this particular website on this year. So you can see the how much changes are in the 2024, 2023 Facebook have made. But if you go with the earlier versions than 2005, 2006, there are very minimum changes. Let's click on 2004, how the Facebook looks like. I'll just click open this. So you can see that that's how the Facebook looks like in 2004. Okay, so if I'm able to grab some URLs that is quite outdated, maybe that can be a vulnerable. That can be a vulnerability because these things sometimes developers forget to remove. And as an attacker, this can be very juicy information for us. We can utilize to perform the exploitation or gain the initial access of the target. Okay. So that's just an example of archive. So how you can utilize this information to grab the target. So you can see that. Okay, how many changes Facebook have done recently, like from last 5 years, Facebook is continuously working on their platform, okay, and making the relevant changes, securing the target and analyzing the behavior. They're doing a lot of changes in terms of securities as well as some normal user experience things as well. Okay, I'll show you a complete example, practical demonstration of each of the category. Okay, one by one. Just I'll list down firstly all the things, like what can be the possibilities in reconnaissance. Next would be the Google Docs. Google Docs. What can be the Google Docs? Google Docs. Anyone have any idea what is Google Docs? Anyone?
Searching with the different criteria to get the result from Google.
Yeah, so that's basically a kind of a advanced search technique that as an attacker or as a security researcher you can use, okay, to get the required details. So let me give you the example. What can be this? So there is a one keyword called site. Site basically means what is your target. Suppose in my case I'm taking government of India as a target. Now what I am currently looking for, if I'm looking for some sensitive information or some sensitive files, like suppose if I'm looking for PDF files, file type I mentioned as PDF, then I'll get all the PDFs. So here you can see that PDFs. I'll get all the PDFs that is available for government of India. Okay, but what if I'm not looking for PDF? I'm looking for something else then, or else I'm just basically looking for some directories or basically index pages. Then here you can see that I'm getting something interesting or some sort of juicy stuff. Okay, so I'll just simply open this. I'm getting 403, no issue. We'll try some other. Yeah, here you can see that there's an index of this, but this file doesn't interest me because yeah, here you can see that there are many files that exist. Okay, and if I go to this particular directory, maybe there can be some sensitive information, like we have license.txt. Maybe if suppose if the target application is using some sort of premium licenses and if they're disclosing the files like this, then that can be an issue. Okay, that's how like you can utilize this Google docking technique to achieve or to find out the relevant information about the target. There are many Google Docs are available, and usually I share the list of the Google Docs, and even I help you to create your own Google Docs as well. Okay, if you are successfully able to create your own Google Docs, then what you can do? You can submit your Google Docs on the GHDB. That's a Google Hacking Database. Okay, Let me show you one example. So you can see that these are the security researchers and they have published their Google Docs on this. Okay, you can take the reference from this database as well. Okay, you can craft your own, you can basically copy these Google Docs and basically search for your target, like if you're getting the relevant information or not, or else like you can publish your own created Google Docs. Okay, if you have found out like the Google Doc that you have created is quite very unique, in that case you can submit it into this. Okay, usually they won't acknowledge you like if your Google Doc is submitted. What you have to do, you have to basically search for the author, like what is your name. Suppose if I'm searching for my Prashant, then you have to basically search on regular basis after submitting it, and you can see that how many docs I've submitted. In 2020 I've submitted around 6. Okay, and the category you can see. Okay, so that's how you can submit. And there's one plus point of that is you can mention the same thing in your resume as well. That basically highlights what is your contribution to the cybersecurity community. Okay, like you have given something. Okay, that's a very kind of a attractive thing that usually researchers are looking for the company. Okay, so that kind of thing you can do. Usually I take the reference from the Google Docs of this because this site contains a lot of advanced Google Docs. Okay, that I can utilize for my target. So these are the Google Docs techniques. Anyone have any doubts in this Google Docs, or is it clear?
The
Or
passwords
should I
can
say
also be extracted from that.
Or didn't got? You can repeat again.
The passwords can also be extracted from Google Docs.
Yeah, if you are searching for something sensitive like index of, I'll just search for one more thing. Pass W. Okay, I've got a PDF that basically contains this. I'll just search. Okay, so here what I'm searching. I'll use this in text. If a website contains something, a keyword called pass W, then I'll get the results. Here you can see that pass W is this, pass W is this, pass W is this. Okay, it depends on the keywords. What is the keyword that I'm searching? That keyword related information you will get it. Okay, or else I'll search for some DB files as well. Like file type, I'll simply mention file type DB. You can see the thumbs.db. There is some database. Okay, this database can contain a lot of sensitive information. Sometimes the credentials as well of the main target. I'm not opening it, and I'm not promoting any like illegal activities here. This is completely for educational purposes only. Okay, so you can use these Google Docs, and you can like whatever the vulnerabilities that you are finding out on any government website. I'll suggest you to report these. Why? Because if you're reporting these vulnerabilities to the government of India, then in the response they will acknowledge you. Like, yeah, thanks for finding out the vulnerability. That kind of appreciation you will get, and you can same post it to your LinkedIn feed as well. That basically shows like how much actively you are reporting the vulnerability, how much actively you are finding out the vulnerabilities, and how much you are putting your efforts to finding out the loopholes and reporting it. Okay. So you can do anything. It completely depends on the keywords and the creativity of yours. Okay, how you are utilizing these techniques to achieve your end goal. Okay, there can be a many example. I'll share you one thing. Google Docs, GitHub list. This is basically your list that basically contains a kind of a collections of a very good Google Docs. So we have a docs available for all of the services, including Google, Students, and so these are some search engines. Or else I'll just simply go up. AWS to text. Here you can see that if I'm searching some instance related to AWS, then I'll take an example of these Google Docs. Okay. So we have Google Docs available for each of the things, like it depends what we are searching. So we have 7,000 Google Docs list. We have 10,000 Google Docs list. So 7,000. Let's open this. This is quite a very huge word list. You can see. Depends. Okay. So I'll help you, like in the main class, I'll help you to craft your own Google Doc. There will be a very dedicated session for utilizing these Google Docs. Okay, this will be your main technique. Okay, I played a lot with these Google keywords. Okay, because these things you can utilize in your personal life as well. Like suppose if you're looking for some specific books or looking for some specific videos, lectures, or any kind of data, then you can easily find out from this. Or like suppose you are looking for some public drive links that contain some courses. So these kind of things you can easily get it from Google. Okay? This is just an example. Okay. Now what else we can grab reconnaissance OSINT. Anyone have heard about this? What is OSINT?
Open source
Oh,
intelligence.
person.
Okay. Apart from full form, anyone?
Virus total.
So it shows all the website which are open source intelligence, and it shows something hierarchy based GUI type of thing.
Okay. Anyone want to add something on this?
No, it is a technique basically to find someone about location in the social media or the geolocation
All
kind of thing.
the information which are readily available openly.
Great. Great responses. Okay. Great to hear it.
It is also a framework of OSINT.
Yes, definitely. I'll show it. OSINT framework. Okay, so this is the website that basically contains the category of tools for each of the OSINT category. Okay, will take some time to load. Sometimes it won't load. Oh yeah, it is loading. Oh, we are getting 4.0. Yes. So here you can see that what is OSINT? OSINT is basically a open source intelligence framework that basically you can utilize to grab the desired information. Okay, so how we can achieve that thing? Suppose I have to grab the usernames. So what I can do, I'll just simply click on this, and here you can see that there will be two things like username search engines or specific sites. I'll go with some search engine that basically search for the username. Here you can see that these are the names that basically can help you for the username. I just simply have to click and I will redirect it to that particular website. Okay. Suppose if I am searching for some telephone numbers, then I click on this. It will give us everything, including Truecaller is also there. Okay. If I'm searching for any Truecaller, if I am searching for any content related to dark web, I click on this. I'll get the list of categories, Tor, Web, Proxy. And suppose if I'm just only looking for general info, then what I'll do, I just simply click on this, and you can see that Reddit Deep Web, Reddit Onions, Reddit Darknet. There are many things that I can achieve from this. Okay. So there's a framework that you can utilize to grab your desired results. Okay. Even it's like suppose if you're looking for documents or videos, so you can use this. So if I'm looking for documents, especially like on search, and yeah, these are the websites that leaked cables, files. So WikiLeaks is a very popular one. So that you can utilize to search for the specific documents of the company. Okay. Reconnaissance, especially, I told you, it's a very big part. Okay, of a hacking. Yes. Anyone have any doubts as of now? Okay. Yeah. So I'm telling about the reconnaissance. So reconnaissance is a very big and very important phase of hacking, and it consumes a lot of time. Okay. The more recon you will do, the more assets you will found, and the more attack surface is going to be increased. Okay. So reconnaissance is a very crucial step in hacking. Okay. Now let's start with some more practicals. Okay. So suppose if I have to do the domain recon, I have to grab the information about the target, like what are the technology they are using. So I'll start with the actively interacting with the target. I'll take one example called Netgear. So this is a platform that is basically listed on Buckrow, and they basically gives the consent to find out the vulnerabilities on this. Okay, so I'm taking this as an example. So here I'm using a plugin called Weapalizer. Okay, that basically gives me a lot of information. Okay, so what kind of information I'm getting? So firstly is regarding the CMS. So what kind of CMS they are using? They're using SDL Tridion. Okay, there's a CMS like we have WordPress, we have Joomla, Drupal. There are many CMS. CMS is nothing, just kind of a framework that you can utilize to create your website without doing any kind of coding stuff. Okay, you just have to drag and drop and just know a little bit basics, not a hardcore code is required. Okay, here you can see that what kind of live chat feature they are using. They are using from Salesforce service. Okay, if we talk about the JavaScript frameworks, then they are using handlebars. And if we focus, then here you can see that they are using 4.7.8. So can anyone tell me, like, is it really useful for us, this version, or is it just a kind of a very casual thing?
Sir, it is useful for finding the vulnerabilities.
Yes, maybe the framework they are using, maybe that can be vulnerable. There can be some chances, there can be some vulnerabilities like SQL injection, remote code execution that can exist on this JavaScript framework. Okay, so how we can do some R&D on this? So for doing that R&D, what I'll do, I'll just search for handlebars. What is the version? 4. Take a look again. 4.7.8. Okay, 4.7.8. Expert. I'll just do a simple Google and you will see there are some websites comes up like Snake especially. So let's do a quick search and here you can see that no, there is not that much information. Okay, go back. Okay, search for this. Here, list of vulnerabilities is coming, but it is for some other versions as well. Like version lower than 4.7.7 is vulnerable to prototype pollution. Okay, remote code execution is still there, but it is on version below than 4.7.7. Okay, there are some other versions as well, 3.0.8, 4.0.0, 4.4.5, 1.0.4 beta. Okay, so these kind of websites can help you to identify the available vulnerabilities. Okay, sometimes you will get to know that your target is vulnerable with some libraries or frameworks. Sometimes you will get to know that maybe the frameworks or library they are using is just outdated. There is no vulnerability. There can be a scenario like this as well. Okay, there's a very common scenario where you will encounter that your target is just using outdated frameworks or libraries. That's it. It is not vulnerable. Okay, but still it is a bad implementation kind of thing. Still you can suggest your target or organization to upgrade to the latest version. Okay, but this will be a completely informative thing. There is no risk attached to it until and unless there is no vulnerability. Okay, but here you can see that they are using JavaScript libraries like jQuery, Core.js, jQuery Modernizer. There are many. Awesome is also using frameworks like they are using ASP.NET. Okay, so there are many frameworks or many technologies are available like PHP, ASP. We have a Django. Okay, so if you get to know about the target framework they are using, then there will be some specific test cases that you can use or that you can perform on that particular target. So suppose if the target is built on ASP, then what I'll do a directory enumeration. And in the directory enumeration, I'll try to find out the hidden files and folders that is available on the target for ASP related. Let me give you one example. ASP world list. And here you will see the names of files and folders. Okay, that is quite common in ASP related application. Maybe I'll get to know about this account admin. Maybe this particular location exists on the target. Maybe I can get an admin panel, sometimes unauthenticated as well. Okay, so that can be the scenario. That is why doing the directory enumeration is also the part of this reconnaissance. Directory enumeration. Directory enumeration is about finding files and folders. Specifically, they are hidden. Like we don't know like what is the file that exists. Sometimes you will get the entire database dump. Sometimes you will get to know that logs are getting leaked, and in that logs, credentials are also there. So that kind of scenario can also be. Sometimes you get to know that there are some critical files that is getting leaked or that is not protected by any firewall. An attacker can utilize that files to grab some critical information out of it. Okay. So that kind of scenario quite very common in ethical hacking. Okay. So if you see closely, then yeah, we have ASP.NET. There are some miscellaneous things are getting used like this. Load balancer they are using Amazon. Anyone know what is load balancer? Anyone have any idea what exactly the load balancer is?
It used to balance the
Reverse
traffic.
proxy.
For reducing the workload.
Distributing the traffic.
Distributing the traffic to multiple servers.
Yes, everyone is correct. One more question. Anyone have any idea on CDN?
Content delivery network.
apart from full form?
So it actually works as a load balancer. It actually distributes
Sure.
the content so that it's for security purpose.
To
Okay.
It
reduce
distributes the content to
latency.
multiple servers.
Repeat it again.
It distributes the network to multiple servers.
Then what is the difference between CDN and load balancer?
Maybe reduce the latency, like implementing where is the user is there. So it will help to reduce the latency. They can access the data faster.
Yes, correct. So basically, for performance, to basically tackle the issues related to performance, we use the CDN. CDN basically is a content delivery network that basically delivers the content or the resources to the end users. Okay, the main purpose of a CDN is to reduce latency and improve website performance by caching or serving the content from web servers. Okay, so it's kind of a middleman. So how it usually works? So let me give you one more idea of architecture. So suppose there's a user and there's a main server. Let's simply mention it. Server this is, and there's a user, and after that there will be a middleman called CDN. Okay, user is suppose requesting something, then CDN is basically acting as a middleman, and it is going to protect the server as well. Like you cannot access the server directly. If CDNs or any kind of web application firewalls are implemented, then they will ensure that valid traffic is coming. That's it. Like if someone is sending bots or performing some sort of DOS attack, then in that case, those attacks is going to be invalidated. Okay, like bots are not going to reach your main server. Okay, because suppose if your server have a bandwidth of 50 handling 50,000 users for an hour. Okay, but suppose your competitor is sending a lot of botnets to you, then it can crash your servers. Okay, there are many tools came up for performing the DOS attack, but if your server is not able to handle that much unwanted traffic, then it will be crashed, and it will take sometimes 1 or 2 hours to back up. Okay, to get up. That's it. Okay. So it does. So the main, I also show the architecture as well, like how the things work in real world, what's the real web application architecture, how the components work, how the web application firewall got implemented, what the physical parameters, what are the APIs, DB, everything I'll show you. Okay? But that's a very big topic. Just focus on the reconnaissance first. But that's a very big topic itself. Okay. Yeah, acquisitions, I have explained you, like you can use the platforms like Crunchbase to grab some information about the acquisitions or the companies. So if I just go to the, here you can see that Google, click on the acquisition. So Google have 265 acquisition as of now. Okay. So just scroll down and here you can see that, just scroll down a bit. Okay, there are few things are locked. Why? Because for unlock them, I have to create an account and I have to take a trial. Okay, that's I think 30-day trial. So in that, everything will be unlocked. All of the information related to acquisition and everything. Okay, finance is everything. As an attacker, we should have an idea about the acquisition and everything. So you can see the organization name is Propel, that is acquired by this Guardian AI, Namaya 3, T-Daily. So these are the acquisitions of the target. Okay. And these are the announced date and the funding round. You can see how much money is raised for that particular thing, diversity. There are many information you will get from this platform. Okay, so that's how the acquisition usually works. And in the domain recon, it is not limited to grabbing the technology information. It basically can include the subdomain enumeration. Subdomain enumeration, how you can do that? There are two ways. Firstly, active subdomain enumeration. Secondly, passive subdomain enumeration. In passive subdomain enumeration, what we are going to do? We are going to utilize some tools like that is available online, subdomain enumeration tool. Okay, so we have pentest tools. This is a very famous website to perform a lot of pentest things. So subdomain pentest. So suppose if I'm looking for finding the domains of yahoo.com, start scan, it will give me a complete subdomain scan. Okay, that's a passive way because in the logs of this yahoo.com, they will get to know that pentest tools IP is getting logged and doing some sort of request. There's a passive way. I'm using some other tools to perform the subdomain enumeration. I'm trying to find out the some domains, okay, domains of the main domain. Okay, that's also a very crucial step that you have to do. And in bug bounty especially, that's a very crucial step. Again, not in the traditional pen test, but in a bug bounty is a very important step. And even in the ethical hacking, you should know about the subdomain enumeration. And why we are doing this? Because end goal should be very clear, whatever the task you are performing. And the end goal of subdomain enumeration is to increase the assets. So your attack surface is going to be increased. So you can find more vulnerabilities, you can find more issues on the target. Okay, that's the end goal of it. So it is working, it will take some time. So here you can see that how many hosts are resolved, 39747 as of now, and these are the subdomains. Yahoo.com is main domain, and whatever there is a kind of a suffix, or you can say sorry, prefix is the main subdomain. So DE is a subdomain of toolbar.yahoo.com. DE.toolbar is a subdomain of yahoo.com. Okay, so there are many subdomains I'm getting. It will take some time because these tools takes time. And if we talk about active subdomain enumeration, then we have some tools like Sublister, we have NocPy, we have AMAS, and there are some tools from Project Discovery as well that we can utilize to perform the subdomain enumeration. Okay. Like we have Subfinder from Project Discovery. Project Discovery creates a lot of open source tools that we can utilize for performing these ethical hacking phases or for performing the reconnaissance especially. So here you can see that Subfinder is utilizing the different platforms like Virus Total. I'll just zoom it a bit. Yeah. So here you can see that if you see the command clearly, Subfinder -d for domain, hackerone.com is the target that we're using, and -v is for the verbose. Here you can see that we have used a platform called Site Dossier to grab the domain. Here we have used a target called Virus Total platform to grab the domains of hackerone.com. Here we have used again one more platform, Archive IS. Here again one more platform, Security Trails. One more platform, Passive Total. So these tools uses different tools to give you the results of subdomains. Okay, for this you have to create the account on these platforms and integrate your APIs into the main tool. That I'll also teach you like how you can create the account and how you can integrate your APIs, because these tools contains the configuration file where you have to paste your API so that they can fetch the domains from these platforms. Okay, because these things consider as a passive subdomain enumeration if you're grabbing from third-party platforms. Okay, if you're brute forcing the subdomains, then it will consider the active subdomain enumeration. Okay. Employee information, yeah, you can grab it from Crunchbase. Acquisition, again, same from Crunchbase only. If we talk about the email harvesting, then there is a one tool come up. Okay, that's the harvester. Yeah, email subdomain or tool for email harvesting, so that you can use it for grabbing the emails from the target. Okay, or there are some extensions also comes up for grabbing the emails from a specific target. Okay, that I'll also show you. So that's a quite very easy thing. And there are some automatic framework also comes up that basically gives you the complete list of available valid emails on the target. Okay, and if you see the OSINT framework as well, there will be a category for email address as well. If you see, then you can go for email breach data. On the breach data as well, you can grab some emails as well. Okay, so these are the websites that you can use. Especially the dhashed is quite a very well-known website that you can use for grabbing the emails. Okay.
What is the name of the website?
Which one? Dhashed. Like there's a very common website that I've used the most. That's why I'm just spotlighting this. That's So that's how you can perform the email harvesting. Okay, there are many automated frameworks also comes up that can help you to do the email harvesting. Even for doing this entire reconnaissance, there are framework are available that is completely open source. Okay, that you can utilize to do the entire reconnaissance. But there will be some false positive in that. That's why I suggest you to do the everything manually. manually or validate them. Like there are two ways. Okay. So that's how the reconnaissance work about the target. Okay. Now let's come to the scanning part. So anyone have any doubt as of now? These category, like how we can do that? I'll show you in depth, like when we have a very dedicated classes for reconnaissance, because reconnaissance sometimes can take up to a week as well. Okay, for only doing the reconnaissance. For analyzing, sometimes it can take up to a month as well. It depends how much depth you are touching of the target. Because suppose if you are scanning the subdomains of Microsoft.com, then you get to know that they have 2 lakhs plus subdomains. Then in that case, your attack surface is very wider. Okay. But as a pen test or like as an ethical hacker, you have some sort of scope where you will only limit your testing or limit your approach to that particular domain only. But if you have the wildcard scope, then in that case, you are going to think like an attacker and will try to find out a very juicy domain over there and will hunt on that. Okay. So before moving to the next phase, anyone have any other doubts? Or shall we move forward? Or anyone is finding this session quite boring, or how is it?
It's good.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for confirming. Okay. The next phase, that's a scanning one. Okay. Scanning again contains port scan, network scan, as well as the vulnerability scan. For scanning, especially if you are doing the port scan, okay. Suppose there is a normal target, they haven't implemented any kind of security solution, then you can easily scan the target, okay. But if they have implemented some sort of security solutions like firewall, then in that case, they will block the sequence of port scanning, okay. Even if they have the open port, they will show you filtered because maybe they have blocked the specific packet type. Example would be ping, or suppose they have blocked the ICMP packet protocol. Then you have to use a specific flag that basically bypasses the ICMP flag. Okay, so that kind of things I'll show you. So for give you just example how this works. So we have a one tool called Nmap. Nmap is basically a network mapping tool that can help you to scan your target. Okay, you can utilize this tool to perform all these types of a scan. Okay, but I suggest you to use the different scanners for each of the category. For vulnerability scan, we have a lot of different and well-reputed scanners like we have Nessus, we have NetSparker, we have Equinetics, we have OWASP Zap, we have Burpsuit as well. Okay, so that can help you for this. So I'll just give you a quick example how this Nmap works. So I'll scan for a target called TryHack. I'll just simply do a simple scan. Okay, I'm not giving any kind of flag. I'll just see the response and accordingly, I'll do the further scanning. Okay, because after identifying the target ports. So you can see that if I'm doing, then it will take around 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah, it is done almost. So here you can see that what are the ports that is open. Port number 80 is open. Port number 443 is also open. 8080 and 8443. Okay, so these are the ports open. Now, as an attacker, what I have to do? I have to grab the information about the services that this application is using. So for this, I have a flag called -s or v. Now there is one question: how am I get to know about what are the flags that is available in this tool? Do I have to learn everything? No, just simply put -h to know about all the argument that is available. Here you can see that you will get the complete list. Here you can see that -il for scanning all the IPs list. Okay, -sl for list scan, -sn for ping scan, -pn for treating all hosts as online. Okay, there are a lot of scan techniques are also available that you can get to know that. There is no need to remember the commands. Everything is available on the help menu. Just read it, and when you practice on the target, then you will memorize everything. Most commonly, there are some common commands, 1 or 2 common commands that you will easily memorize. Okay, there are some scan techniques. You can see that every scan techniques have a different scan sequence. every tool have the help menu. So don't worry, you don't need to learn any command. There are some common commands that you can use that you are going to use for most of the attacks. Okay. Even for bypassing the firewalls, we have the command. Okay. So these kind of things are also exist in this. For grabbing the everything in output, we have this. Everything is mentioned. Okay. So what I'll do, I will scan this. I got to know that there are 4 ports are open. What I'll do, I just perform a version banner grabbing. Okay. That basically gives me the version of the target services. So let's scan this. And parallelly, I'll show you a few more targets for information gathering example. So we have one test website called test page. Okay. This is kind of a vulnerable website that you can use for testing your skills as an attacker. And if you see the extension again, you get to know about what are the technology this application is using. So they are using PHP 5.6.40 and they have a lot of vulnerabilities available. Okay, they are using an operating system called Ubuntu. Ubuntu means the server is based on Linux. Okay, and if you remember that Netgear is using Microsoft ASP.NET, then the chances are very high. Maybe the server they have that's on Windows based. Okay, so that kind of OS detection kind of thing we can also do. Okay, for server they are using Nginx. So that kind of information you can also get from this. Okay. So where is this? Okay. So here you can see that they have performed the banner grabbing kind of a service detection scan. And here you can see that on the version, we are getting Cloudflare HTTP proxy for all the ports. Why? Because Cloudflare is protecting this particular domain called tryhackme.com. It is basically protecting the domain. Anyone is going to perform any kind of activity, then in the response, you will only get Cloudflare error. Okay, Cloudflare is basically firstly going to validate your request. Then only it will allow you to interact with the target. Okay, but what if I'll use the test PHP instead of this? Will I get the exact versions? Let's try test page. I just copy paste the domain. One more thing is that HTTP is not allowed in this nmap, so I have to remove this. Just wait for a minute, and it will show you the complete response. Wait, how much? Yeah, 20% is almost done. 30% is done. 48%. Time. Okay, so here only one port is open, that's 80, and here you can see that the exact version of that particular server. That's a 1.19.0. Okay, so if they haven't implemented any kind of security solutions like firewall, then in that case you will get a version details in a plain text manner. Otherwise, if they are using any kind of web like Cloudflare, you will get this response, because most of the time firewall is going to protect the target from all the unwanted requests or traffic. That's how the scanning works, where we mostly works for identifying the ports, network, or vulnerability scan. If we talk about the vulnerability scan, then there we have a verb suite. Okay, that's a tool that we utilize for manual pen testing, but this tool also comes up with the automated scan. Okay, automated scan is mostly for the enterprise editions. Because sometimes they have basically released the one more version as well. Okay, for implementing in the CI/CD pipeline. Okay, but also if we talk about the vulnerability scan, then we have some other alternatives as well. Like we have Nessus for configuration audits. We have NetSparker tools. We have Accumulate. So these are the tools that is used widely in the enterprise editions. Okay. So this is about the scanning. Okay. So anyone have any doubt as of now? Or is it clear?
So Nmap is inbuilt in Windows, or do we have to install any kind of software and then go to command prompt to enable it?
Okay. Firstly, these are completely third-party tools and open source as well. So it is not installed by default in Windows. You have to install it manually. Okay. It is uh, installed by default only in Kali Linux. Okay, that's the attacker machine that we are going to utilize. If you see my Oracle VirtualBox, then I have a one Kali Linux machine. Okay, that's usually a VM that I've created for act as a attacker only. Okay, so this Linux machine have the all the hacking tools installed by default. But in this Windows machine, I have manually installed all of the required tools because nowadays most of the tools are platform independent. That means you can use the same tool on Windows as well as Linux. And if there is any tool that is only working on Linux, then we have some alternatives as well. Okay. And there is one more thing comes up, like if your device is not supporting virtualization, then in that case you can go for WSL. That's a Windows Subsystem Linux, where you can use Linux in your command prompt only. There is no need to use the VM or any other thing. Okay, I'll help you to like create your own lab where you are acting as an attacker. You have your target machine and you are involving with that, and how we are performing the attack as well. So everything I'll teach you. Like there will be a complete lab setup. Okay, there is a dedicated class for lab setup as well, where I'll completely teach you. Okay, I'll pick you. I'll check one by one for each of you, like who have done and who is facing the main issues while uh, deploying the labs. Okay, because as an attacker machine, we have to set up a Kali Linux. As a victim machine, we have to set up a Windows older version, or we can set up Metasploitable, or there are some online labs are also available where you can set up your infra. In that case, if your device doesn't support that particular things. Okay. So lab setup will also be the part of the syllabus. So don't worry, that we will do. Okay. Any other question like apart from this executable? So I have installed it manually in short. Any other thing, Tariq or anyone?
No questions.
So yeah, I'm talking about the vulnerability scan. Yeah. Now, if we talk about, so that's how the scanning works. Scanning, I've just done a simple basic Nmap scan. Okay, if I suppose do suppose vulnerability scan, then I can utilize the same Nmap as well. Like Nmap can do a lot of things, but it is not mastered in every technique. Yeah, like you can say it is kind of master only in port scanning, not in vulnerability scan. But there is a little bit of vulnerability scan you can also perform from Nmap. How? By using some script scan. Nmap is built on basically NSE. That's a network's script engine. Okay, so hyphen script equals to vuln. That's a script that we are going to utilize for scanning the vulnerabilities. Okay, so again, I'll give the same target test PHP only for scanning the vulnerabilities by using a Nmap. I just do a simple hit. It will take a minute to analyze identify the vulnerabilities. So these just basically only perform a very quick check, very quick check. Okay, on the vulnerability. That's it. Like it will only check for some very critical things like some process scripting, CSRF, or some basic error checks. That's it. You cannot expect more than this. Okay, there are dedicated vulnerability scanners are available where you can perform the scans. Okay, I especially suggest to use the NetSparker. Okay, NetSparker I'll show you, or WhatsApp. Yeah, that's a web vulnerability scanner. There is not that much information. I'll show you some images so you will get some idea about this tool. Okay. Hmm. Yep. So this is a kind of a dashboard of this tool. So here you can see that this we have run a scan, okay, on a specific application, and here you can see that what are the vulnerability that is being identified: command injection, remote code execution, SQL injection, cross-site scripting, a lot of things that is being identified by this scanner. Okay, this is a very powerful scanner that we can use for performing the vulnerability scan. But again, it is not a free. There are trials are available, but it's just not free. Okay. But I'll show you how these things work. I have all the license and everything in my system. Okay, and if you need it for some time, then I can help you with that as well. Okay, so like there are some ways to grab the trial version from them. Okay, like for a month you can grab it. Like you can use different email IDs for grabbing them. Okay, so I'll help you with all the methods so that you can utilize. Okay. So there's a net Sparker that you can use for vulnerability scanner. Okay. And if we talk about the network scan, then you can do it from Nmap only. Okay, still it is working. Like suppose from your target, you have got some subnet. Then you can scan the entire subnet to identify the host, available host on that. Okay. It's taking some time. Okay. So anyone have any doubts on this scanning or reconnaissance part, how this works? Anyone?
Torch.
Ketan, do you have any doubt? I think you have muted yourself.
No, sir. No.
Okay. Anyone else have any doubt as of now? Okay. In that case, I'll move to the next phase. That's a gaining access. Gaining access basically involves a lot of steps. Basically, is all about exploiting identified vulnerabilities. Vulnerability means kind of any weakness or any loopholes. Okay, or it's all about initial access, getting initial access or compromising a target. Compromising, there's a spell mistake. Compromising a target initially. Why initially? Because on a target, there can be a chances that normal user and admin user can exist. Maybe you have only got the access of normal user, admin you haven't got. That's why I'm mentioning initially. After getting the initial access, then only you can perform some checks related to privilege escalation, where you try to escalate your privileges from normal user to admin user. That's a technique, we call it as a privilege escalation. Privilege escalation is also a type, like a horizontal or vertical. Like if you are able to get from a normal user to admin user, then it will be a vertical privilege escalation. If you are going from a normal user to a different normal user, then it will be a horizontal privilege escalation. The severity is completely different, okay, for both of the vertical or horizontal privilege escalation. Okay, and after this gaining access, we also do the post exploitation. Post exploitation basically simply means performing the activities or again gathering the information after gaining the access about the target. Like suppose internal port scan. Okay, maybe there are some devices are available that you can access only after getting the target initial access. Okay, so that kind of activities you can perform in the post exploitation. Or like suppose you are getting some passwords after getting initial access, then you can crack that as well, because that is also example of password cracking in post exploitation. Okay, there are many tools that you can utilize, like Hydra we have John. So don't worry about these tools. I'm just repeating the tools name as of now. I'll show you the complete practical of each of these, like how these works in a very depth manner. Okay, we are not going to just give you the tool name and everything. I'll just completely teach you, okay, everything. You will get a hands-on experience definitely of each and every tool. Okay, like whatever the available in the target Kali Linux machine. Okay, so there's the post exploitation technique that we perform in the after getting the initial access of the target. Okay, Let's see if the scan is completed. Still it is working, and it's almost complete, like 99.11%. So just wait for a minute. I think you can just take 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, so that's how these things work. Like as of now, I don't have the practical example, and as well as we are running out of time as well, because in next 10 minutes I have to wrap up the topics, and then we can go with the questions as well. Okay, like what are the remaining questions that you have, or like even out of the topic question we can answer, because that's our free time. Okay, that we can utilize. So anyone have any doubts as of now? Or else I think we'll just wait for this scan, and then I'll start answering all of your doubts, okay, related to this topic or something other than this. Okay, you can ask anything. Like, I'm completely into the offensive side of cybersecurity. So if you have any other things apart from SOC or defensive side, then I'm happy to answer that as well. Okay. Or else you can, yeah.
This question is regarding the MCQ questions in the examination.
Yes.
You mentioned all the questions will be on the scenario based.
Yeah.
So like, is it only the scenario based, or they will ask for the commands? What command will be
Basic
used
commands.
on this scenario, and what command will be used on this scenario for this scanning?
Okay, so I'll give you one example. So they can ask you something question like this, like what will be the flag that you will use to perform a script scan or a default script scan? But they can ask you like what is the flag in Nmap that can help you to perform an aggressive scan? So in that case, that kind of questions you can expect, because these are the very easy, like a kind of a lollipop question, you can say. Okay, that's a very easy to grab. You can just simply hit an answer within just 10 seconds. Okay, if you are getting these kind of easy question, then yeah, you can clear it very easily. Okay, there will be like, if you are getting anything related to commands, then definitely it will be very easy. Okay, like that thing that you are dealing on daily basis. Okay, like throughout the months you are going to practice or use the same command again and again, and you definitely will be memorize that. Okay, there is no need to revise that thing. Okay, you will automatically memorize that. Okay, any other thing, Arik or anyone? Or else I just show you a screenshot if it is like taking that much time. In my one scan screenshot. Yeah, so here you can see that there is the one scan, hyphen script equals to one scan. And here you can see that. So on 53 port, some DNS related checks are performed, and this Nmap have identified few CVEs, okay, like CV 2013, CV this, that, and a lot of description as well. Okay, so here Nmap also gives the references as well, okay, about the vulnerabilities. And some DOS related things are also identified. So you can see that that's how this vuln scan works. So you can expect vulnerabilities related to DOS, some CVEs, some XSS, some CSRF, some basic checks. That's it. Not more than anything. These are some basic things that you can expect from Nmap. Okay. So it is working. Yeah, I think it's hanged. Like we have to start the scan again. Okay. So as of now, from my side, as we are running out of time, I'm ending the session here only. Okay, because I have explained you the practical demonstration of this reconnaissance and scanning. Okay. The gaining access, like for that, we need a complete machine, and it will take again 1 or more than 1 hour. Okay, so that's why I'm skipping that part. So I'm just ending or wrapping up the session here only. Okay, so that is it from my side. So thank you everyone for joining in. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn as well. So I'm pasting this URL on LinkedIn, so you can connect with me if you have some doubts or anything. So you can connect directly with me. Okay, or else if you have any doubts, we are still on the call. You can ask me. You are free to ask anything on cybersecurity or anything related to CEH. I will be happy to help you. Okay. You are open to ask anything now. Like we are done with the topic. So yeah, it's almost done. I'll just show you. So that's the one scan is done. So you can see that on port 80, these are the enumeration. Like here, this Nmap tool have identified some files or folders. Okay, so there's a directory enumeration this tool have performed. Okay, so here they have identified some potentially interesting folders. Okay, and here you can see that they have identified some cross-domain client access policy. Site is vulnerable to this particular vulnerability, and these are some references for that particular vulnerability. And even SQL injection is identified for this particular application. You can see that these are the URLs that is vulnerable to SQL injection. You can give these URLs to any automatic SQL exploitation tool like SQL map, and they will give you the complete database dump. Okay, so they have also identified the CSRF. So you can see that these kind of checks you can expect: DOM-based access, stored access. So yeah, these kind of things you can expect from this Nmap vulnerability scan. There are many interesting script scans are available that you can check. Okay, so that is it from my side. If anyone have anything, please let me know, or else you can wrap up.
So, so this Nmap tool is open source or it's a
It's
paid?
open source tool. It's a
Okay.
free and open source, completely free.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else have anything?
Can you show once more your LinkedIn ID so that I can?
Yeah, sure. I pushed it into chat as well. Even if you search for my name, share one more time. Even I'll show him on the browser as well. Just a minute. I'm sharing in the chat. Even I'll just open this. So here you can see that there's my LinkedIn. Hope you are able to see. You can then collect some information about me as well. Yeah. Anything else? Anyone?
No, sir. No, Prashant, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for your session.
Yeah. Thanks for joining in, everyone. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prashant.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.